the Anfield Wrap post-match pint after Liverpool 2, Brighton 1 from the Glenbook. I'm Neil Docking, and here with Stu Wright Damien Kavanagh. They talk about the Anfield atmosphere being a myth. They talk about the Anfield atmosphere not being a reality, but it was definitely reality in that second half. The Anfield crowd helped that team over the line. The first half was about as bad as it could have been. The second half, that Anfield crowd and the Reds showed what they're all about.
Yeah, and you said you came in feeling a bit hoarse, and me myself too, I feel a little pony next to you. Yeah, it was brilliant. It was a brilliant afternoon. I mean, fair play to Brighton. It's all right saying we were rubbish in the first half, but Brighton were brilliant. They were absolutely got the tactics.
So sharp, weren't they?
Oh, fantastic. And Liverpool weren't. And it's really me being biggest pet hate in football is when you start the game at half time, as if it's all right to say, well, we'll get it back later. Well, it's just the Premier League, and that was a difficult one. So I think Liverpool were a bit lacklustre, and I think the crowd this season, fair enough, you know, it's got to take it on the chin if the atmosphere hasn't been as good. But that second half, the crowd knew that the team needed them, and the team needed it, knew to step up. So I noticed just before Brighton scored, I could see Slot really having a go at his players for not pressing enough, and literally in that movement they went down the hard end and scored, and they were good. They were good for being a goal up and whatever. But the second half was a completely different game. They just came out front foot, pressing, energy, wanted to win, wanted Liverpool to be showing the team who they are, and wanting the crowd to respond, and the crowd certainly responded. And when all those things come together, everyone falls, and it worked out a treat. And I think also, by the way, just to say, at the end of all that, the atmosphere was great, Liverpool's drive was great, but they got cute later on, and just kept, once they had the result, they kept it. And that's the development Liverpool have got now this season.
Yeah, really smart in that second half. We'll get on to how good Brighton were, because they were that good. And I spoke to you at half-time. We bumped into each other in the Kop at half-time. Well, you grabbed me and I almost walked past. But we was talking. I said to you, I really hope this is a game of two halves, because that first half has been as bad as I can remember. But it really was. And Damien talks there about how smart we were. I don't think anyone epitomised that more in that second half than Mohamed Salah. I think for half an hour, that was as close to world class as you can get.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think the changes that Slot made at half time were really, really important. And if it was a video game, I think Arne Slot has just reached the next level and unlocked the crowd by the changes that he made. And that might just be Liverpool's greatest weapon, apart from Mo Salah. Because Mo Salah was phenomenal. All the space, he was crying out in the first half, all the space from their setup was in the wide areas. They were killing us in the central areas.
Completely, yeah, completely.
They've done the homework. And the thing is about Liverpool's midfield, and Ryan Gravenberch in particular, has been the talk of the Premier League, I think, this season so far. And because of that, after 10 games, of course, the opposition are going to get wise to that, do the homework and shut down the spaces in midfield. And they played with a bit of a Christmas tree formation whenever we were trying to build from the back and killing the central areas. Ryan Gravenberch would have 4 players swarming him every time he was trying to play through.
It felt like they had 14 players on the pitch, didn't it?
I mean, they were so aggressive with it, they were so smart with it, and they were alive to every ball. But all the space was in the wide areas. And Liverpool, the second half, the message from Slot clearly had been, go more direct, get it to the wide areas, get it to Gakpo and Salah earlier, and we go from there and we get the crowd behind us. We show more fight and more aggression, and we'll see where it takes us. And it took us all the way to a victory.
It was a Klopp-esque performance in the second half, I thought, in many respects. But that midfield of theirs, the central two, I wasn't really familiar with them. I was talking to Dan Austin before the game, and we were saying maybe they look a little light in the middle, Brighton, but it definitely didn't play out that way.
Oh, no. I thought they were great, and, you know, this is what the Premier League's all about. This is why you crave it so much. I mean, I don't know who Brighton are playing next week, but did they play that well next week? I hope they win, I'm sure they will. You know, they were really good, weren't they? It was almost as though...
Right the way from front to back they are.
Yeah,
I find it hard to believe that Danny Welbeck is better than any striker at Manchester United, any striker at Arsenal for my money. Yeah. And they both let him go, and he's playing for Brighton. That shows the quality that the league has got, you know, right down the table. But they're not even down the table. They're what? I think they would have been in 4th if they'd won today, Brighton.
Yeah, so it shows you the quality, and I want them to continue to do that because they'll inflict results on other teams. But they didn't even, fold either, did they? Because as much as we were doing so well in the second half, they were still a threat. That game was still live until the last minute. I mean, they weren't knocking on the door. They didn't deserve an equaliser. But you knew they were a threat. We had to play right up to the whistle. All credit to them. But by the same token, you've got to then say all credit for Liverpool to rise and above it. It would have been easy to go, oh, it's one of them days.
YouTube Press the button, become a member of the Anfield Wrap from the heart of the city of Liverpool. The best way to enjoy all your Liverpool-based videos, everything you need, every single day. It is the Anfield Wrap.